I want to share a simple message, and that is to just stop fighting the experience that you're having right now. Human life is very deeply conditioned to be fighting what we're experiencing. And from this arises a lot of unnecessary suffering. I would say that the overwhelming majority of suffering that you most likely experience comes simply from you resisting and avoiding the experience that you're having right now in all the various forms that it takes. I would say that the overwhelming majority of suffering that you experience simply comes from something arising that you don't like, and then you just fighting against it, whether it's a feeling, a thought, an external situation. And this impulse to want to fight against what's occurring is, first of all, futile because it's already occurring. You might as well just surrender to it and embrace what is, and then from there work to potentially change what's going on. And if you can't change it, then you just got to embrace it. And also this impulse to fight against what is, this is simply a survival impulse. There's a part of us that's just afraid that we're not going to get a need met. We're fighting because we're trying to get something. We're trying to feel good. We're trying to feel happy. We have a goal in mind. Usually it's subconscious. And we're trying to just get it in order to feel good. But we don't really understand that we're perpetuating a cycle that leaves us trapped in suffering in order to feel good. It's a broken strategy. So I want you to actually recognize how much unnecessary suffering you have in your life, how much unnecessary resistance that you actually have in your life. And I want you to really grasp the futility of it. I want you to start off just by contemplating it. Right? Like, do I really have to be fighting this feeling that I'm having or fighting this experience that I'm having? Or can I come into a deeper sense of harmony with it? Right? Surrender doesn't imply that you're weak or that you can't change anything. It's just this unnecessary struggle. Right? We surrender that, and then we watch how that shifts our relationship to life, which reduces our suffering and increases our clarity. So start off with a concept of it, but really then apply it to your actual experience. Watch your body tense up. Watch your mind start generating stories that fuel your tension and your impulse to want to fight against something. Watch you just start denying emotions that you have and repressing and avoiding them. And life is difficult. We have a lot of conflicting desires and parts that arises, and we have to learn how to balance this. We have desires for connection, and then we have desires for solitude, and then we have desires for this, and then we have it for that, and a lot of conflicting desires and needs that we have to balance. So can you hold that just in awareness, just containing it gently, rather than fighting against it? Especially yourself. You most likely do a lot of fighting against yourself, which is completely futile. Forms of criticism, self-judgment, tensions, fighting emotions, pushing down emotions, suppressing what you really think, not setting boundaries when you have to, not sharing when you have to, when it's important for the well-being of like your relationship or yourself or in your workplace or whatever it is. There's all sorts of ways in which you harm yourself, and it's really just deeply conditioned into you. And you don't really shine conscious attention on it. Instead, the pattern just plays over and over and over again, because that's kind of just the nature of conditioning, of our karmic conditioning, right? The conditioning that we've built up throughout our life. It's just going to replay itself until we start to shine attention on it. And just being aware of it, right? Just fully applying awareness to it and breaking our identification with it, this dismantles it over time, leading to a lot of energy that gets freed up, a lot more clarity, deeper connection with being, with existence, with the present experience, with self, with others, deeper clarity, just deeper fulfillment. So to really master this, to be honest, you kind of got to meditate. If you're a fairly ordinary person, you need to have some time to just practice meditation. You don't have to go, you don't have to do any of that. You can just practice watching thoughts, watching sensations, rather than them controlling you all day, rather than you being like a little puppet on a string, and then your thoughts and your background beliefs and your stories and narratives and emotions and tensions are all controlling you, and then you're in this reactive survival state, right? Instead of all this kind of bullshit controlling you, you're able to observe it, hold it in awareness with care over time. You'll learn how to hold it with care. And then a lot of it just naturally starts to dissolve, because a lot of it is just simply karmic conditioning that's no longer serving you, so you can just straight up let it go. And then some things that are essential, you learn how to balance them and integrate them and structure them in your life. You essentially build a deeper and more fluid connection to yourself that's based off of expression and awareness, allowing things to surface and see them, and actually care for them, rather than suppression and avoidance, denial, resistance. Which way do you want to treat yourself? Would you punch yourself in the face repeatedly all day? Of course you don't do that. But why do you attack yourself on these more subtle levels? Simply because you're not aware of them. Simply because you don't really understand the damage that it's actually doing. So that's it for this video. If I'm going to leave, I'm just going to give you one question. How can I just simply reduce my resistance to this experience? Does that involve releasing the tension in my body, feeling the emotion that I'm feeling, the sensation, feeling the need that I'm feeling, and holding it with awareness, containing it? Does that mean letting go of these stories and narratives that my mind generates and really holds on and believes are true, right? Just letting go of those because they're fueling this resistance pattern. How can you practice this every day so that you actually see a tangible shift in you? How can you be consistent with this so that you're not just always backsliding and spending your whole life in unnecessary suffering and resistance? So that's it for this video. If you're interested in working one-to-one with me, I do one-to-one coaching. You can apply, links in the pinned comment. See you later.